Greetings, Pumas. How y'all doing today? It's Mr. Pena here. Today's video that me and Mr. Howell will be presenting to you is for October, which is Bully Prevention Month. October is Bully Prevention Month or Bully Awareness Month. And I know last year we had we went into your guys' classroom and we talked about stop, walk, talk, and we talked about what bullying is, what it's not, and how you could use stop, walk, talk for any conflict that you get in with another student. As you see next to me is our stop, walk, talk poster that was created by Elijah Gusan. He was a fifth grader last year, but this year he is a sixth grader in Miss Darby's class. So if you guys remember last year, we went into your guys' classroom and then we had a contest with the upper grade students. Whoever could create a poster, and then we made copies of the winner's poster. So for Elijah, we made copies of the poster. That's right here next to me. And we gave them to all the teachers. So all the teachers have them set up in their classroom. And then we also posted them up around campus to remind you guys what Stop, Walk, Talk is. So this year, what we wanted to do, since you guys already know Stop, Walk, Talk, maybe some of you don't know what it is because you're new to us, we want to reintroduce that to you guys, teach it to you guys. And then also teach you how you could use Stop, Walk, Talk with virtual learning. I know we're not here at school, and a lot of the strategies that we gave you guys last year were for how to use it when you're having in-person conflict with somebody. So this year we're going to reintroduce that, so we're going to go over them, and then we're also going to teach you some tips on how you could use Stop, Walk, Talk for virtual learning. We are going to discuss the different terms like we did last time, so what different words mean and what bullying is. Mr. Howell is going to talk to you guys about why people bully. And then after that, we'll go over our different ways and strategies on how to deal with conflict, whether it's in person or during virtual learning. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson. Keep up the great work and enjoy. All right, students, Mr. Pena again. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to define what it is to be rude to someone, what it is to be mean to someone, and what bullying is, right? Because every time we have a conflict or an interaction with a student, it's not always bullying. Sometimes they could be being rude. Sometimes they're just being mean. Or sometimes it could be bullying, right? So I want to go over these definitions with you. I'm going to give you an example of how these would play out on the playground, right? So the first one we have is rude, right? And so the definition for rude is when someone says something unintentionally hurtful. So someone says something unintentionally hurtful just one time. So the example that I want to give you for that one is going to be, I'm on the playground playing basketball, and I put up a shot, and it's a horrible shot. It doesn't even go anywhere near the rim. It's an air ball. And Mr. Howell is walking by, and he says, "Man, Mr. Pena, that was an ugly shot." And I'm like, "Mr. Howell, that wasn't very nice of you." And Mr. Howell says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Pena. I didn't mean to make fun of you. I was just commenting on the shot that you shot. I wasn't trying to hurt your feeling." I said, "Oh, okay, Mr. Howell. No problem. Thanks." So you see, Mr. Howell's intentions were not to hurt my feelings. He just made an observation that my shot wasn't that great, and he said that it was ugly. And so he wasn't trying to hurt my feelings. That wasn't his intention, right? And he accepted, and I let him know how it made me feel, and he said, "Hey, I'm sorry." And we solved that conflict, right, using our words. So now let's go into what being mean is. So being mean is when someone says something intentionally hurtful just one time, right? So they say something intentionally hurtful. So the difference between rude and mean is rude is it's not their intention to hurt your feelings, where when they're being mean, they are intentionally trying to hurt your feelings. So let's use the same example. I'm playing basketball. I shoot an ugly shot, right? Air ball. Mr. Howell's walking by and says, "Man, Mr. Pena, that was an ugly shot." And that made me upset. So rather than let Mr. Howell know that he hurt my feelings, I'm going to come at him, right? And I'm going to say something that hurt his feelings. "You know, Mr. Howell, at least I know my times tables." So Mr. Howell's like, why did this guy just make fun of me? That's not very nice at all. And Mr. Howell says, "Hey, man, that's not nice." And I'm like, "I don't care. I know my timetables, you don't." So you see, my intention was to hurt his feelings. Whereas when Mr. Howell said I had an ugly shot, he wasn't trying to hurt my feelings. He just made an observation. So that's the difference between rude and mean, right? So remember, rude is when you unintentionally say something that makes someone upset, and mean is when you say something intentionally to make someone upset. but it's only one time. So now the definition of bullying, right? So bullying is when someone does something intentionally hurtful and they keep doing it even after you ask them to stop. So remember, bullying is when someone does something intentionally hurtful to you and they continue to do it even after you ask them to stop. So the example of me and Mr. Howell, right? So I told Mr. Howell, at least I know my times tables, and I wanted to hurt his feelings. And he told me, hey, Mr. Pena, that's not very nice. And I said, I don't care. Now, the very next day, we're back at school, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go find Mr. Howell, and I'm going to make fun of him again. And so I go and seek him out, and I say, Mr. Howell doesn't know his times table. Mr. Howell doesn't know his times table. And people start laughing, and Mr. Howell's like, that's not very nice. I say, I don't care. And the next day I did the same thing, and the next day, and the next day, and I keep doing it. Now I'm being a bully because my intentions were to make sure that every day Mr. Howell gets upset about me making fun of him. So that's the difference between being rude, being mean, and being bullying, right? But they could all be solved by communicating. So one more time to review. Rude is when someone says something unintentionally, so it wasn't their intention to hurt your feelings just one time. You ask them to stop, they apologize, right? So you're being rude, but what your intent was not to hurt their feelings. Being mean is when you intentionally say something to somebody to hurt their feelings. You want to make sure you hurt their feelings, so you're intentionally saying something rude. All right? And then bullying is when you intentionally say something over and over again, day after day, even after that person has asked you to stop. And a real quick disclaimer, me and Mr. Howell are great friends. We would never make fun of each other. We would be positive and we would cheer each other on. If that situation happened on the playground, Mr. Howell would be like, it's all right, Mr. Pena, try again. You can do it. He'd encourage me to keep shooting better shots. All right, so next we have Mr. Howell, and he's going to explain to you guys why people bully.
Thank you, Mr. Pena. Thank you for giving that definition of between the three different words, being rude, being mean, and being bullied. And obviously, Mr. Pena and I, we worked with each other for a number of years, and we would never speak that way to each other. And if one of us were to make that mistake, we would learn how to talk to each other so that we wouldn't escalate a situation. But it's very important that we look at the difference between being rude, being mean with some intent, and bullying. Bullying is with the intent to hurt. But why would someone want to bully? What are some of the reasons why people bully? A lot of times people are bullied, they bully because they have been hurt. And people who hurt. They hurt other people. And it's very important as a strategy is that we learn how to teach our children how to deal with their emotions. A lot of times people have anger that's built inside. They have no way of letting it out, but it comes out in a physical and sometimes a verbal way. Sometimes people bully because they have internal situations that come out externally towards their friends, their neighbors, and maybe even animals, our little pets. So we want to teach children how to deal with bullying. The bully, along with the victim, both need help. If someone is hurting someone, they're probably also hurting. And if someone is being hurt, we need to address that and reduce the hurt that our students and that people feel in general. Let's think about how we can better be peace builders, because peace building isn't easy. It takes skill and practice and determination.
Thank you, Mr. Howell, on that information on why people bully. All right, students. So now me and Mr. Howell are going to go over stop, walk, talk, and how you could use that to help you settle conflicts with other students, right? And then also how you could use it with virtual learning. So the first one we have is stop, right? So some of you guys might remember we had our universal sign, which is the stop sign. So stop. All right, so let's practice. 1, 2, 3. Stop. Hmm. So that's us letting someone know to stop because they're bothering us. So to stop, if a bully starts bothering you, tell them to stop. Right. So how would that play out on the playground? If like with the example of me and Mr. Howell, someone comes. I was shooting a basketball. Mr. Howell told me I had an ugly shot, and I said, "Hey, that's not nice. Can you please stop?" And Mr. Howell said, "Okay, I won't do that." So we settled that with just the first step, which is stop. Right. So we want to make sure that if somebody is making us feel uncomfortable or says something to us that we don't like, we let them know. It's okay to express ourselves and let them know that what they're saying or what they're doing is not making you comfortable and that you want them to stop. It is okay for us to speak up for ourselves. Now, if we're on virtual learning, what might that look like? What are some examples that we could do for virtual learning? So let's say we're in class and someone sends you a chat and says something that's inappropriate. You could chat back to them and tell them, hey, that's not nice. Don't say that. That's inappropriate. Or if someone sends you an email and you could let them know, you could reply back to them and say, hey, please don't be sending me emails. I don't appreciate getting emails from you. Please leave me alone. And so those are ways that you could express yourself to someone with virtual learning. Or maybe you're on an app. So I don't know what apps the students use today, maybe Snapchat or TikTok. And in the comment sections, someone says something about you. You could reply back to them and say, hey, don't say that, that's not nice. Or you just ignore them, right? You could definitely ignore them. Those are some examples on how you could use stop during virtual learning. But remember, the big point with stop is you expressing to the individual that you do not like what they're doing and you want them to stop.
Thank you, Mr. Pena. Sometimes the best thing to do is just stop. Just stop whatever you're doing, whatever that friendship is, just stop it until they have earned your respect, until you decide that you want to have a friendship or interaction with that person. Sometimes you just need to do the second step, is just walk away. Walk away online sometimes just means ignore the message. Just maybe mute them in terms of reading their messages. That's the second thing that you can do. Just walk away. Don't give them the time of your good day. Don't let anyone control your day, especially if they're trying to turn a good day into a sad day. Take control. Be in control. It's all part of a strategy that we want students to learn. Walk away.
So we tried to stop. We told them, hey, stop what you're doing. I don't like what you're doing. And they didn't stop. You tried walking away. So you tried ignoring them. If you're virtual learning, you block them or you just don't respond to their comments. You're just ignoring them and you're not replying back to their emails. So that's similar to walking away. And next we have talk. So what do? We tried all those and this person is still bothering you. They're still seeking you out every day, saying stuff to you. Or if you're virtual learning, they're still sending you emails or comments that are making you upset. So now we want to talk. And talk is going to be if the bully doesn't stop bothering you, talk to a teacher or talk to an adult. So that is the talk part of stop, walk, talk. And that's when you want to talk to an adult. Because first, we want to empower you guys to try to solve the problems yourself. So you want to try to solve it yourself. But if that's not working, then you want to get an adult involved. So you could let your teacher know, hey, this student keeps sending me emails. This student is sending me chats that are inappropriate. I've asked them to stop several times and they're not. Or you could let your parent know, hey, mom, dad, the student keeps sending me messages and they're bothering me. Let the adults know so then we could start taking care of the situation because you already tried on your own to take care of it and it's not working out. The student is not listening to you. So now the adults have to step in and make sure that we take care of the situation. So again, Talk is when you talk to an adult because you already asked the person to stop. You started ignoring them by walking away, and now you need to talk to an adult.
Well, we're trying to make sure that all of our students have all the skills they need to navigate and get about in the world that they live in. And we want to teach you ways of solving conflicts that will not make the situation worse. And we do that by our stop, walk, and talk. Firstly, just try to just ask them to stop, walk away. And if that doesn't work, then get an adult and let us get involved. And I have to tell you, I've had to use the just walk away strategy before. One time, someone said something that was derogatory, and I had choices. I could respond back to them, or I could walk away. I actually thought of the students here at Palms, and I said that I have to do the things that I teach. And I decided to just walk away. Actually, I had to drive away because it was in a driving situation. And I was proud of myself afterwards because the consequences could have been great had the wrong choices been made. It's very important that when you are in a situation that you stop, calm yourself down, don't just react, respond, measure what you want to do, and think about the consequences from each of the possible decisions that you might make. So I hope that each of you will continue to be peace builders. Peace building is not easy. It takes a high level of self-control and a vision in terms of what will be the consequence of each of the possible decisions that I make. Stop, walk, and talk. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the day and continue to be a peace builder.